Okay, we're about to start in just a minute or two, and the topic is going to be family and relationships. Just one or two more people will probably join. Okay, so hello and welcome. Okay, let's turn on the cameras. And so today we've got a vocabulary class, and we're also going to practice some speaking. The topic of the class is going to be family and relationships. Now, could you tell me if you can hear and see me clearly?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so could you please, you can unmute yourself, or if just you can be muting and unmuting yourselves. Yeah, so, and you can turn on the cameras if possible. We're going to learn some advanced vocabulary, and as you probably understand, it is something more than just mother, father, sister, brother. So, okay, let me start the presentation here. Okay, I'll turn this off and just a bit. Okay. So the first word that we have now, Karina and Anna and Nikolai, can you turn on your cameras, please? So yes, the first word that we have here today, that's a word for a teenager. Do you have any options? If not, I'm going to give you the word, and please write it down because we'll need it later today during the class. Okay, and the synonyms for a teenager, Nikolai? You don't have to write this in the chat box. It's not a webinar. It's a Zoom live class. All right. So Karina, adolescent. Okay, that's right. But please be speaking. It's going to be speaking. Don't not just a writing class in the chat box. So some parents can be. If you're going to turn on your camera, you can turn on your microphone. Then some parents can be strict, some parents can be not strict. What are some words for parents who are, let's say, strict? Like in this what you can see in this picture.
Authoritarian parents.
Okay, yeah, so that's an example of authoritarian and authoritarian parent. Okay, good. Then what's the opposite of that?
Like lenient parents.
Lenient.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Lenient parent. So that's lenient parent. Then next one. The number of babies or children who are born in a certain area. What's the word for this?
It's the name of the state when in the particular period of time there is such a period when a lot of family tend to have a lot of people, a lot of kids.
Well, it's not baby boom, but just a general word for the number of babies who are born.
Birth rate, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
So any options? That's simply birth rate. Okay. Then what kind of a process can you see here?
Cognitive thinking?
Yeah, cognitive process. Yeah, thinking process, or if you want to sound clever, you can call it cognitive process. Okay, thank you. then this guy doesn't work and his parents are not very happy about it because what can you call a person who like doesn't earn his or her own money and lives at the expense of others? In Russian, we would say иждивенец.
Dependents.
Okay, it's a dependent. Yeah, with a. So here, because if you spell e, it's going to be an adjective. All right. Now, the next thing, what can you see in this picture?
Nuclear family. Or
It's a nuclear family, right?
extended family. Yeah.
That's an extended family because it's not just parents and children, but they're also grandparents and also uncles, aunts, and other types of relatives here. So this is a child who probably doesn't have parents, and some other parents adopted her. So what kind of a child is this?
It's a foster child, no?
Okay.
As far as I remember.
So a foster child. And what do you call such a family which adopts children, not their own children, but somebody else's children?
It's a foster family then.
Yeah, exactly. That's a foster family. So if these words are new for you, please write them down because we'll use them later today during the class.
Can you please remind how do we call in English sirot?
Okay, who can help?
An orphan.
Orphan.
Yes.
Orphans,
Yes,
orphans.
thank you.
The orphan and the place where they live, that's an
Orphanage.
yes.
Orphanage.
Okay. So sometimes when parents die and a child doesn't go to a foster family yet, but there are some people who take care of the child for a certain time. Maybe they can be uncles, aunts, maybe someone else. So it's like опекун.
Guardians.
Guardian.
Right.
Or while custody, how do we call them? Custodials.
Possibly, but guardian is a more common word here. So this guy is 16 years old and he has committed a crime. So what kind of a phenomenon does this picture describe?
Juvenile crime.
Okay.
He ran wild.
Yes. If you want to sound smart and for your IELTS essays, probably it would be good to use words like juvenile delinquency. Okay, or juvenile crime. All right. Now, this is a father and this is a child. And there's a clever word for a child, like a child of a certain parent, not just a small young child, but a child of a parent. What is a synonym for a child?
Offspring.
Okay.
An offspring or a young individual also possible.
Yeah, right. So offspring. And also please bear in mind that offspring is uncountable and you cannot use it in plural. I mean, it doesn't change, it remains the same in plural. So some parents are very protective. Well, they take care of their child a lot. And there are two words. One of them is just an adjective and one of them is an idiom. Do you know either of these?
Helicopter parent.
Yeah,
and
this is the idiom. Yeah.
The general one, I guess, is overprotective parents.
Yes, exactly. So an overprotective parent, and there's also an idiom, a helicopter parent. Okay, thank you. So when a child is absent from school without a good reason, what are some words for this?
Truant?
So it's like to skip classes. Yeah, to play truant, that's a British expression. And to play hooky, that's American, but that's slang, so you cannot use it in your academic essays. To play truant, or in American English, you can also say to play hooky. All right. Now, when children are left without maybe supervision, they can do something naughty. And what's a good expression for this?
I mean, they are running wild, so
yes, to be running wild. Yeah, to run wild, to be running wild. That's right. Good. Then there's also a general word, a brother or a sister.
Sibling.
Yeah, a sibling. That's an advanced,
Sibling,
it's
right.
considered to be an advanced word, so use it in your IELTS. As well as instead of husband or wife, you can say my better half, my significant other. And instead of brother or sister, you can just say, yeah, spouse also is a similar word. And you can also say sibling. And between siblings, there's often some kind of competition happening between them. What's a term for this? So this is called sibling rivalry. Yeah, sibling rivalry. Okay. In some families, there is only one parent, a mother or a father. What's the word for this?
Single parent.
Okay, single parent family. All right. And when some relatives, for example, do not like each other very much, like you can see it in this picture, they get on each other's nerves. It is connected with this body part that they're holding.
To be at each other's throats.
Yes, they are at each other's throats, right? So to be at each other's throats. Okay. So what happened here?
They are like divorced,
Oh,
maybe,
okay,
or they live in separate ways.
All right, they're divorced or separated. Okay. When you want to say in my childhood, what are some other ways of paraphrasing it?
So probably when I was knee-high to a grasshopper. So
Yeah, there's an
in the
idiom
dim and
spoken.
distant past.
It depends on how old you are.
Yeah.
Yes, then you can say in the dim and distant past when I was knee-high to a grasshopper. Of course, in real English, you don't use such idioms. But if you want to use something uncommon for IELTS, then yes. Okay. And you can also say, or there'll be one more expression we'll learn a bit later. And you can also say, when I was in my в годы формирования личности.
Formative years.
Formative, yes.
Yes, when I was in my formative years. That's another way of saying in my childhood, although it could be also teenage years as well. All right, so sometimes relatives look like each other, and there's a good way, maybe there's more than one, I guess, to say that they look like each other. Can you suggest any?
To bear some resemblance, maybe.
Yeah, so they can bear some resemblance between each other. Yeah, for example, any other options?
This is an image.
Okay, yeah, you can also say that. So bear some resemblance to one another. Then what do you call the process when a parent raises or educates a child? Oh,
Bring
let's say
up,
the verb is
raise,
to, okay, bring up or raise, right? And
and
what's the noun? What's the noun form for this?
Bringing up.
yes.
Not quite. Upbringing.
Oh.
Yeah, in some contexts, you could say the process of bringing up, but upbringing sounds much more natural. All right. So when people love each other very much in the family, it's called
Over the hills and love.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you very well. Maybe.
Over the hills and love.
You can say to fall head over heels in love with someone, or to be head over heels in love with someone. And there is also you can say to
love
someone,
to pieces.
yeah, love each other to pieces probably is. And you can also say to someone, I love you to the moon and back. There's also such an expression. But in this context, probably the best one about family relationships, you can say to love each other to pieces. All right, then to be the main person in the house, in the family, sometimes it is the husband, sometimes it is the wife.
Wears shorts or
not short. You don't say
Trousers,
shorts.
trousers.
Wear the
Yes.
trousers in the family, but in American English you say wear the pants.
Yeah,
but
pants.
In British English, pants means underwear. In American English, say underpants. So be careful, depending on which context you're using it. So to wear the trousers, that's British, and to wear the pants, that's American. All right. Then there's a period of a child's life when a child is learning how to walk. Usually it's like 1, maybe 2 years old. It's not an infant, but the next stage.
Toddler.
And what do you call the period of this life of
Toddlerhood.
this child? toddlerhood. So another way you can say, when I was knee-high to a grasshopper, in my formative years and also in my toddlerhood. Yeah. So in your speaking, you can just speak about your childhood and paraphrase it in at least 3 different ways. Okay. And then this is a good kid. He studies well. He's good at sports. What would you call such
He's
a
a keen
child?
student. Keen. He's a keen pupil or a keen student.
If he's learning, but he's a keen student, but he's also good at his physical development is also nice. So he's good at sports as well.
Well-adjusted kid, you mean?
Yes, well-adjusted kid. Okay, right. I think these are all the words that I prepared for you. Now I would like to do some vocabulary exercises. And could you please open this link or a file, which I will also try to send you, whichever works for you. We probably will not need the link for the first exercise, but just download it somewhere in the background so that you have it for the next stage. Okay, I'm also looking for the file on my computer. In just a second, I'll find it. Okay, so this is the topic family. Vocabulary. And vocabulary exercises. Yeah, there we go. No, not this one. All right, so in the first thing, we need to choose the one of the options, A, B, or C. So now let's also see who can be speaking, and I will not be asking those whose microphone doesn't work. So Nikolai, can you do the first one?
So of course, so Mr. and Mrs. Smith live at home with their 2 children. They're a typical example of a more than, so they're on the 2 of them, like compact family probably.
No, there's a special collocation.
No. Yeah. It's the nuclear family because there are only 2 of them.
All right.
Right.
Good. Karina, can you speak? Is your microphone working?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, please.
Mr. and Miss Popatlal live at home with their aged parents, children, and grandchildren. They are a typical example of a traditional extended family.
Okay. So Anna, number 3.
Mrs. Jones lives on her own and has to look after her 2 children. There are lots of single-parent families like hers.
Okay. All right. So then, Snezhana.
Some parents need to bring up their children more strictly.
Okay, good. Now Yuri.
When I was a child, I had a very turbulent upbringing.
Okay, good. Oh, so it looks like everyone has microphone was working and there is no one. I didn't mean to turn off my microphone. All right, so now Nikolai, can you do the next one?
Yes, of course. Mrs. Kelly is divorced and finds it difficult to look after her children on her own.
Okay. Right. So next one, Karina.
Many men believe that child care is a responsibility of women.
Well, here it says of a woman. All right. Good. Anna, please.
Adolescence is a particularly difficult time of life for a child.
Yes, as they say it in Russia, first 40 years of childhood are the most difficult periods in a boy's life. Okay, so Snezhana, can you do the next one?
Yeah, sure. A person's behavior can sometimes be traced back to his or her formative years.
All right. Now, Yuri.
The country has seen a sharp drop in the birth rate in the last few years.
All right. Now, Nikolai.
She has 5 it's like dependants who rely on her to look after them, right?
Yeah. So that's A. Because
A,
this
yeah.
C is an adjective dependent on, and it cannot be plural. All right. So, Karina, can you do number 12?
Juvenile crime is on the rise, with over 30% of thefts being committed by young people under the age of 18.
Okay, juvenile crime. Right. So for the next activity, could you please, I think you will need your own file, and you're going to be checking this in mini groups of 2 and 3 people. So can you please match the words and the expressions? So the file is in the chat box, and here's just the link if you need it. It's exercise 2. Please try to match 1A to B3C. I will give you now, let's say 3 minutes to do this, to start doing it. Don't worry if you haven't finished everything, you can continue doing this together. And then you will check this with your partner and discuss. Okay, so now don't worry if you haven't finished yet. I'll put you into breakout rooms, discuss what you have done, and continue doing it together with your partner. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes. Okay, so we checked the answers in breakout rooms. Are there still any questions about these? I guess no. So one more vocabulary exercise that we're going to do before we start practicing speaking. So you need to complete this text with the words that we learned today. There are no options, it's just all the words that we learned today. So again, I'll give you 3 to 4 minutes to do it on your own, and then you're going to check it with your partner, but this time with a different partner. Okay, so don't worry if you haven't finished it yet. Now you can finish this with your partner, check what you have, and then continue doing it together with your partner. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes for that. Okay, so I think in one of the groups there was some disagreement in number 6. No, number 5. So what are some options for number 5?
I don't know, personally, I used that he was strict authoritarian, like
A strict authoritarian. Yeah, so I gave you the collocation authoritarian parent, and maybe this made you a bit confused, but authoritarian can also be used as a noun. So a strict authoritarian. But your option in the other group, which is a strict parent, of course, it also matches here. It's just that it's a very simple word. And also let's quickly check. Number 18. What's the answer for number 18?
Extended.
Yeah, extended family. So I will put the answers in the chat box. Please have a quick look. And if you, I cannot copy that, but okay, I will copy from here. I will copy the correct answers here in the chat box. Please have a quick look. And if you have any questions, please ask me or give any commentaries that you might have.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
So I see the brought up in the number 3rd. I think it would be also correct to use raised, but that's not my question. The question is particularly what's the difference between the word to rear and the words to raise and bring up?
Okay, I believe they're just used as synonyms. Rear, yeah, to rear or to raise or to bring up. So that's they're pretty similar. Okay, and yes, you can say what was it? Brought up or raised. Yes, both of them are correct.
Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, so for some reason I cannot copy the questions for you. We're going to do the speaking now. All these are philosophical questions for part 3. Okay, I'll just create a file and I'll quickly send it to you because maybe there are too many. The text is too big for the chat box or some other reasons. There's speaking part 3 style questions, philosophical ones about family. They are based on recent essay topics over the last 10 years on the topic family, only the topic family. So please discuss them with your partner. So here's the file. Please open it. At least one of you should open it. And let's say I'll give you 10 minutes. And it's okay if you don't discuss all the questions. Just try to keep talking and try to generate the ideas, because although they are worded as part 3 questions, but they're actually essay topics in the original. So can you open the file? Yeah. All right. I'll put you into breakout rooms. I'll give you 10 minutes and please discuss these questions with your partner. Off you go. Okay, so do you have any questions or commentaries about our today's class? Yeah, you had some very interesting discussions from what I could hear.
Yep.
Yeah. So if there are no more questions, then thank you all for participation, and we'll see you in the next class.
Yeah, goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It,
Bye.
it, it was a pleasure.